All right, so here we are on the eve almost of deer season, and the result of our work from this spring. These stalks are 7-8 feet, and there's plenty of solid harvestable corn here. That there's rocks underneath this field, and it's handy to have the big equipment to go over it, just to get the depth of the disc into the ground and get some soil loosened up for the corn and soybeans, and this year sorghum. So Greg's done a lot of work on this already with his wheeler, the drag combination, and the disc. So this seed bed is really nice now for the corn we're going to be putting in here. Nice and rich and soft. So food plot number one, this is Roundup ready corn. We're putting this corn in at the end of May, so it's getting in a little early. And then when we're done with the corn, we'll be putting in sorghum and soybeans together. So we're moving along about 3 miles an hour with the 2-row international corn planter. We've checked how the seed spacing and the seed depth, and it's ideal. So with fertilizer being laid down this year much better than last year, I'm optimistic that we're going to have a nice cornfield there. So you can see Greg is pulling the John Deere Van Brunt seeder with a mixture of sorghum and soybeans. And you can see there's a little bit of soybean exposed here, but we're going to come by with a field roller and press these in. Sorghum's a little harder to see, but it's laying in there. So we have a significant amount of corn here. After the first cultivation, we've done a pretty good job getting the weeds out of here. There's still a few patches of aggressive weed and some in the rows that will probably give the corn trouble. But the rows are definitely established. They go all the way down to where the cornfield stops. You can see where the cultivation is. And then our next field begins over to the deer stand. So it's June 25th. The corn is clearly thriving. These rows have been tilled one time. You can see Greg walking in the rows of what is outstanding field corn for northern Minnesota. So this is a strip of rye that was planted last August, overwintered, and now it's up, well, pretty evenly chest high. And even a little bit higher. And you can see there's a lot of grain here that's starting to lighten in color and getting ready to mature. So sitting in this row of beans are sorghum plants, as well as oats. The individual sorghum plants are up 15 inches tall, and a nice ground covering of beans, and we're noticing the deer are munching the soybeans already. Just a nice stand of brassica in this wet area. Volunteer rye up tall. And then pumpkins and squash in mounds that are actually blossoming already. So it's a chilly day in late October, archery season and rifle season coming soon. And the result of our summer's work is standing around me. You can see this corn is easily 8 feet tall and has really yielded a lot of harvestable corn. In between the corn rows are the turnips and radishes we planted. And look at this. The greens are being nipped off almost universally here. Another surprise out here that you can see all around us is somebody big has been harvesting corn. We thought it was raccoon damage at first, but it's bear sign. A bear poop full of corn and all kinds of seeds. So you can see a lot of soybean pods are still intact all through the stand, and I imagine they'll attack the soybeans when the weather conditions are just right, that they want that protein. We put a stand of rye in here late in August, almost as an afterthought. We had a little strip along the edge of open dirt. So they've been grazing this rye for a month and a half, and it just keeps coming back. The tracks through here are intense, and the trail camera evidence is obvious. So these are all fresh tracks from overnight, and what seems to be getting the attention of the deer on this end of the food plot are more turnips, and you can see they've been chewed. Now the fruit, they're actually working on it everywhere here. They've dispensed with the greens, and as the frost is pushing the turnips up out of the ground, the deer are eating them aggressively. Well, I'm getting a little bit of a head start on deer season. Sitting in my insulated blind out along a cow pasture stand of rye with my crossbow.
Dave, you got that torch? Or
I do. Let's fire that up if we can.
We've worked on our food plots all year to make them somewhat delectable to deer. And we've been seeing deer come in there eating all fall. And so we set up a decoy, looked like a doe. We had an old target that we put out. And so we had a decoy that the deer was kind of eyeing from the opposite end of the field, probably 150 yards away. When I first saw the deer come down the middle of the field and was headed straight for the decoy. It was a nice looking buck, and I let him get to about 60 yards and let him have it.
Where's he work now?
Oh, you worked at that little shop, doesn't he? Yeah.
Surgical or something.
The winter rye has, we planted it in August, and for the last probably 3-4 weeks, a couple before gun deer season, they've been mowing that every night. And that's their go-to food right at this point. We've also got beans, we've got some oats, and we have brassica. The other thing about the brassica is they've been eating the tops off quite a bit, and they're starting to get down to the turnips and digging in the ground and eating the tops of those also.
Oh, you guys use that?